And joining us now is Delaware Democratic Senator Chris Coons, who's a member of the Appropriations, Foreign Relations, and Judiciary Committees. Well, Senator, your colleagues have left. I see you're still there. But one wonders, you know, when you all come back, you're going to crash right into the deadline for funding the government, not just the supplemental, which is also in January. How is that going to all get done, plus somehow come up with a compromise on immigration before you do any of the foreign aid?
Well, Andrea, there are two decisions that I am prayerfully, hopefully awaiting positive movement on. In Warsaw, ongoing negotiations about a renewed humanitarian ceasefire in the war in Gaza, a pause that would allow for the release of dozens of hostages, including Americans, and for more humanitarian aid to get into Gaza. That ongoing negotiation, that discussion between the United States, Israel, and the Qataris representing Hamas, I hope will achieve some positive breakthrough.
I drop dead?
And here in Washington, there are ongoing negotiations, as you know, between Republicans and Democrats about this critical supplemental. We have to provide more support to the brave Ukrainians who are weathering a ongoing onslaught from Russian troops on their eastern and southern fronts. We have to do this to sustain our reputation in the world as a critical and trustworthy ally. President Biden, as you know, Andrea, has mobilized 50 other countries that in combination have delivered more support for Ukraine than we have. And if we pass this additional supplemental funding request, most of it will actually go into creating jobs here in the United States in munitions plants that will be sending munitions to the Ukrainians. All of this hangs on a critical point, which is whether or not the border security talks, which are now drafting language and exchanging concrete proposals, can conclude in the next 10 days. I'm optimistic, given what I've heard from the folks who are at the table, even hopeful, but there are a lot of devils in the details in these two big things that have to happen in the coming days.
And despite the rhetoric from Israel's government right now, you're still confident that those talks are still going on in Warsaw, and that there is still the possibility for a humanitarian pause and a hostage release?
Well, one area where President Biden's active engagement has made a real difference is in the opening of the Kerem Shalom passing that allows many more trucks into southern Gaza directly from Israel with humanitarian aid. There has been progress. There's also lots of pressure on the Israeli government from the families of the hostages. There was a tragic incident in recent days where 3 hostages were killed by mistake by IDF troops, and there's a lot of concern about the dramatic suffering, the humanitarian catastrophe on the ground as Palestinians who are not supporters of Hamas suffer the effects of Israel's ongoing war against Hamas. So I'm hopeful that all these different forces in combination will bring a renewed ceasefire and the release of more hostages and the opportunity for another round of negotiations about the path forward for Israel and for the Palestinian people.
Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin just made an unannounced visit to the USS Gerald Ford aircraft carrier in the Mediterranean, calling it a linchpin to Middle East deterrence. You've been working on some ways to combat Iran and their proxies. The administration is being criticized by Republicans, other critics as well, for not providing enough deterrence against Iran and against particularly Iran-backed Houthis, who are firing on international shipping in the Red Sea and potentially other pathways, the Strait of Hormuz.
Well, Secretary Austin is there in no small part to reinforce the very strong step to deter Iran that President Biden took immediately following October 7th. He deployed 2 aircraft carrier battle groups to the region. He sent a forceful message, both publicly and privately, to Iran and their proxies to stay out of this fight between Israel and Hamas. And the Houthis have continued to fire drones and missiles. our ships in the region, in the Red Sea, the USS Carney and others, have intercepted. And Secretary Austin is there visiting the aircraft carrier Gerald R. Ford in order to reinforce our initiative, the leadership by the United States, to pull together a multinational coalition to confront the Houthis and to secure freedom of navigation in the Red Sea. This is a critical moment, and I am confident that we will move forward on it. I just introduced a resolution, a bipartisan resolution, with 14 senators urging the administration to continue its strong steps to deter Iran.